This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne and we're here with Newsload. And today I'm so excited to interview Ivan Decker. Hello, Ivan.
Hello.
How
Thank you
are
for having me.
So I have to admit, I very much enjoyed watching you on Conan O'Brien. What was that like?
Oh, it was great. I mean, that's, as a small town boy from Canada, getting onto a network television late night show is really the furthest thing you can imagine ever happening. And so the whole experience, I think, from the start to finish was like a dream. Like the whole thing was just, it was wild because it was also a huge process. I had to get all my paperwork in order to be able to go down there. And then the set itself, you rehearse. And I tried doing it from like really good clubs all the way down to like an open mic in a coffee shop with students who hated it. So I really had every possible way of performing that little 5-minute set ready to go. And then I thought I was prepared for like every single thing that could happen. And then as soon as the show happened, I like drive to the studio. You have to spend sort of the afternoon there figuring it out. You get changed, and then they just come get you. They're like, all right, you're going. And then you walk down the hall, and then like you hear them introduce you, and the curtain opens and you walk out. And the crowd gave me a standing ovation when I came out. And so it was like, I was not prepared for that. So I think if you watch the video, you can see on my face when I'm first coming out there, I'm like, oh, okay, this is a little weird. And so then I did the set. It seemed like it went by so fast. And then I got to meet Conan and everything. It was just, yeah, incredible all throughout.
Is he taller than he seems?
Yes, he's very tall and without makeup, freckly.
And pale.
Yeah, not too bad, though. Not as bad as you would think.
Martin Short loves to go on and on about how pale he is.
Yeah, I mean, him and Gaffigan had that Pale Force as it was like an animated series for a while on the show. It was very funny.
Amazing. And Netflix being able to get on to, the Netflix special, your own little section. How was that?
Also great, again, one of those things I never thought would happen. And I mean, when you get the call for something like that, it's always so nerve-wracking because, you obviously want to say yes, but then they're like, okay, you have 3 months to put it together. And then you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be ready in that amount of time. And so it's just everything just sort of, your entire life shifts into being like, this is my sole focus for these 3 months leading up to. And so that's what I did. I just kind of went on a diet, bought a new suit, wrote material every day, tried to get out and practice it as much as possible. I didn't want to do any headline sets anymore because the special was only 30 minutes. And so I was like, I'm not doing more than 30 minutes for that entire month leading up. So I told the club, I was like, I want a middle. Like, give me 30-minute sets in the middle of the show on the weekend instead of the headline sets. And so, again, just to practice. And then, yeah, the taping went great. I was so thrilled with the response from the audience. I don't know where they found those people, but they were the best crowd I've ever had in the city of Montreal. So I got really lucky with that as well. And the warm-up act, Graham Chittenden did an incredible job. And then, of course, Deanne Smith, who I was recording with, they were awesome as well. So the whole night was just fantastic.
And Montreal is just such a energy for good comedy, and the venues are lovely and the food is amazing. It really creates an excellent vibe.
Yeah, definitely. The Just for Laughs Festival it's so unique and unlike anything I've ever been a part of. Like, I've been a part of comedy festivals across the country, and a lot of them do an amazing job, but there's something very unique about the Montreal Festival because they have the benefit of everything kind of being very close. And Montreal as a city is sort of a little bit more walkable, I think. And so there really is there's sort of two types of we've all been to a city where there's a festival of some kind on, and you don't even really know, right? It's like the Bay. They're always having Bay days. Like, you'll go to the, and it'll be like, it's actually the jazz festival right now. And you're like, is it? Because there's nothing going on. Like, it's just in this building, and then there's one across town. Whereas I think for Just for Laughs, they really take over that part of Montreal, and it's really evident that it's going on, and it's very cool because the vibe is sort of all encompassing. Everybody knows what's going on, and it just makes it that much more fun.
Have you had fans send weird messages and weird requests and presents and such?
Sort of, a little bit. I don't mind it. I think it's great. Anytime, for me, it's always so thrilling whenever anybody, takes my material to that amount that I get these. I'm always very fond of that kind of experience. Like when the Netflix special came out, I think I got a few people. Someone told me that like I do a joke about the lobsters in the Halifax airport, and some people are like, I always think of you when I go there. And I got a message from Mastercraft, who's like one of my they're like a electronic musical artist from Canada. They're fantastic. And they sent me a message, and like I'd never met them before, and that's like I didn't even know they would have watched my special, but they just like sent me a message of them at the lobster tank in Halifax. I also got a message from one of the cast members of Walking Dead because I did a joke about that show, and they were telling me that it was like very funny and they liked it. So that kind of thing is always so thrilling to me. And even just when I go and do a club in somewhere I haven't been before, like I was in Syracuse, and I think there was a couple that drove for like 3 hours to come and see me. It was very nice.
That is nice. That's really nice that people, like are making an effort to be a part of your experience. That's
crazy. They're not Swifties, but we're getting there. I don't know what they would be called. Decories? That doesn't sound good. Decorators? I think that's what it's going to be. We'll have to figure it out. Write in the comments below what you think it should be.
Yeah, you should have your t-shirts made,
Yeah. Well, you see, the key is to have them make their own t-shirts. That's always nice. Yeah. I like it when fans do that. Like I've seen there's some comics people will make their, like, because I have had a few people make shirts with my jokes on them and then wear them all. Like I got a photo from a family that was like, yeah, we went on a road trip to somewhere and then we all wore these Ivan Decker shirts. It was very fun.
That is fun and flattering too, to know that you're influencing them so hard that they are getting the t-shirts made, wearing them, talking about it. Like that's changing lives.
Yeah, it's weird to think that I'm the thing that people like quote to each other. Like the way everybody has like a movie or a TV show that they quote to their significant other or their siblings that they grew up with. And it's weird to be that to somebody.
I love it. I think that's terrific, to be able to have that. I have to admit, I've had friends come up to me and say like, we quote you and talk about your jokes. And I was like, oh, that's nice. But it's like neighbor. They haven't driven 3 hours to be a part of it. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you just got to get out, get the exposure out there,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Can I have the Netflix email, please?
Sure. No problem. I don't even know what it is. They called me from an unknown number. That's the problem. Oh, really? I had to do a dead drop. They were like, we're going to leave the information in a briefcase at a bus stop. No, it wasn't that complicated, but.
This message will self-destruct in 3 weeks. Your mission is to come to the Montreal Just for Laughs Festival.
Yes. Should I choose to accept it? And I did say yes.
Amazing. The cooking bit, reverse engineering tacos from memory, adorable. Did you find like going into the grocery store that people approach you?
No, but I do. I feel like it's hard. I feel a grocery store as a place for people to recognize me is like, I don't know. I've only been recognized like on the street, airports, that kind of thing. Never in the grocery. I think people get into their own head. Everybody's stressed. We're in the grocery store. They're not looking at the other people.
I know, because they're trying to deconstruct a taco. Like, they're distracted and they're probably hungry. The biggest mistake is going grocery shopping hungry. Yeah.
I mean, the opposite is true as well. Like you can't go grocery shopping when you've just eaten because then you're like, I don't even want food. And then you don't even buy anything good. And then you get home and you're like, this is all, why did I buy cauliflower? I don't even like it.
So have girls been, like excessively more attentive after your special?
No, I don't think so. I didn't notice that at all. I don't think I give off that vibe. I'm not really the kind of guy that like they like a handsome or like like somebody that's has more bravado. Nobody's like, give me the guy who's afraid of cooking and is really persnickety about television shows. I don't think that's out there as that's not in anybody's top 10 on eHarmony or whatever.
Yeah,
Give me
persnickety
a guy who
gets too
focuses way too much on soup. I want that guy. I want to have a guy who yells about soup for our entire life.
high. Adorable. Have you noticed professional comics treating you differently now? Like before they might have been a little snooty with you, and now they're a little bit more friendlier, a little bit more easier going. You're getting work more.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think so. I feel like it's kind of the same. It's kind of a weird thing interacting with other comedians because initially there's always, it's like when you meet a comic that you've never met, that you've only ever like seen or heard about or worked with, like when you do festivals or something, and you go into the green room and I compare it, it's a lot like two dogs at a dog park. There's very like, okay, let's see what you're about. I don't know. We'll find out. And then it's like, there's like this thing where like you don't want to joke around because it's like as soon as you start riffing in a green room and someone shuts you down, then it's like, oh, now I'm more established than you because you tried to be funny and I didn't respond. And so it's like there's this weird thing. So I feel like it makes it so that if you're working with people you haven't worked with before, generally everyone's just like very quiet. Or if there's someone that's like extremely high status that could come in and be like, we're joking around. And then everyone goes, oh, okay, that's good. But I think it's like, if you don't know each other, I think it's weird because it's like, it's a risk factor because you don't want to get along with somebody before you've seen them perform, because what if they're really bad? And then you're like, oh no, I just made friends with a terrible comedian. So you always want to kind of like stay at arm's length until you see their set. Then if their set is good, it's like, oh, okay, it's fine. So I always find that it's like, it doesn't matter what your pedigree or what you've done, what your resume is like. I think the way people treat you, other comedians at least, is usually based on if they've seen you perform recently. And so like, I definitely noticed when I go to places I haven't been before and meet comedians I haven't seen or haven't seen me, there's always an initial, like before we've seen each other perform, we're like, I don't know about this. We're just going to stay quiet. Everybody just do their own thing. And then after the set, if they like you, they'll be like, do you want to get a drink or whatever? Like it's very talent rules all, I think, in this business.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating because comparing to a dog park, I like that. That's pretty cool. Did you ever work with somebody or meet a celebrity that made you starstruck?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the first time I opened for Ricky Gervais, which was pretty huge. Like that was a kind of a weird scenario. It's just like I've never really been. I don't know what starstruck would. I guess yeah. Like it's like you kind of fumble and you don't know what you're talking about. I feel like I'm in a constant state of that though, so it's hard to tell. Like I'm quite awkward anyway, so I wouldn't be able to identify if I was starstruck or not. But there's definitely moments where you're like, I'm having a conversation with a television man. And it's very strange. And so you're kind of like, I sure hope they like me. But yeah, it was that was probably the closest I've been to being like starstruck, I think, was getting to open for him. And he was very kind. He came and chatted because like sometimes I've opened for people and they just stay in their green room. They don't talk to you. But with Ricky, he like made a point to like come by the green room, say hello, talk about just like shoot the breeze for a bit. And then it's like, okay, have a great set. We'll see you afterwards.
And did you party with him after?
No.
No.
No partying. Like he went to bed. I think for a lot of those, I don't even know. Maybe he got on a private plane and left immediately. Once you're at that level of money, you don't stay in a hotel. You have a plane waiting for you as soon as you walk off stage and you leave.
He talked to you. That was sweet.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I like that he was sweet to you. That makes me happy. Cancel culture. I know that there are fears of things you can say and people are going to totally be against that. But I think you're persnicketyness, might avoid any canceling and risking of offending anyone. Yeah.
I mean, you never know. There's people who get offended by everything. When the Netflix special came out, I have a joke in it about instant oatmeal, and somebody emailed me being like, "Do you know who eats a lot of instant oatmeal? The troops." So I guess you hate the troops. So it doesn't matter what you talk about. People are gonna find a way to get upset about it, and you just have to remember to like not take that on too much as a person who's dealing with trying to make people laugh. I mean, you have to be aware of what the issues are and don't say something like you have to think about the source of the material too. Or like, are you saying something because you generally think it's funny? Or are you saying something because it's so loaded with like stress that you can and tension? Like if it's a very controversial, tense subject, there's a built-in, you're going to get a reaction from the audience, whether it be laughing or that yelling thing that people do now because of, I don't know why, where people go like, oh, like I don't, and some comedians like, they'll take that over laughs. Me, no, it's laughs or nothing. I don't want, but some people they'll take that, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. But I do think
for controversial topics, I guess the is, like what they're going for.
I guess, yeah, maybe that's what they want. And then some people clap or whatever it is. But yeah, it's a hard thing because, you can't just listen to everybody that's going to say that, oh, you shouldn't talk about that, because then you're not going to be able to talk about anything. Like I said, with the oatmeal example, like there's people out there that are going to find things to get upset about no matter what. But I think that the thing you have to understand is that, like, if it's I would never want to do anything that's going to incite harm. That's the main thing, right? You never want to be the reason why somebody else chooses to harm or attack another person. So you don't want to belittle groups of people or, watch out for rhetoric around othering, that kind of thing. But as far as like people having a problem with what you're talking about for whatever reason, I think it's you kind of have to just choose your own thing and not try to adhere to any set of rules, because there are no rules. As soon as you try to figure out what they are, they change. And so that's why stand-up is such an interesting art form, because we're doing it live. We're not like people in movies or television. Like there's no lag time between when we say something and the response we receive. It's literally instantaneous. And so you can tell pretty quick by what is going to be acceptable and what's not going to be acceptable. I mean, and maybe that's all changing with social media now too, because like I feel like there are some people who perform exclusively for the people behind the camera and not the people in the room, which is kind of affecting a little bit of change in the art form around these kinds of topics, because it's like, maybe you do want to offend the people in the room because now they're not the audience anymore. They're the victims. The audience is online. The audience in the room are there as like patsies. So you can record a video and be like, look at these losers. They didn't like what I said. And that's happening too. So, and people are becoming very successful at that. So maybe if you want to do that, that's fine as well. But as far as like getting canceled is concerned, it's also like not a lot of evidence that it's effective either. Because a lot of these guys who've been canceled, Chris D'Elia's still working. So he got re-canceled. Like he got canceled and then he was still going on tour, doing horrendous things. And then he got canceled again. So what's happening with that?
Just keeps going. Just keeps being naughty. Causing trouble. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, Ivan, do you have any bucket lists, any goals, any thing that you're like eager to accomplish in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd like to I want to do some more. Like I got to do that tour with the Comedy in Canada tour with Rick Mercer and Dave Merhesh and Iman El Hosseini, which was incredible. And we got to do a lot of these fantastic venues all across Canada. And so if I ever got to do that again, I'd be thrilled. It's just the best. There's nothing like performing for sold out theater crowd, especially in all across Canada, the Maritimes. Like, there's just such great audiences in this country, and I'm always so pleased when I get to perform for them.
Yeah, and Rick Mercer is just a dream.
Oh, the best guy, just great.
Phenomenal. How can the audience follow you? Your website?
Website's ivandecker.com. It's just my name. Instagram is probably where I'm most active. I'm on there at Ivan W. Decker. Also Facebook, if you really want to be wild, if you like conspiracy theories, I guess. That's if you're still on Facebook. I'm on there as well, just Ivan Decker. And I post a lot of my tour dates, stuff like that on there. But most of my promo and upcoming dates are all on Instagram. So go there, find out where I am, come and laugh at Soup.
Phenomenal. And one last thing, if you can say it loud, say it proud. I love Newsload. I love Newsload. Thank you, Ivan. I hope you have the most amazing day. Yeah, thanks. You too. Great to talk to you. Bye-bye.
This is the Newsload.